25 years, Ramdev Agarwal has been enlightening investors every year with his wealth creation study. The wealth creation study now enters its 25th year, so that's 25 years of wisdom in identifying good stocks. He joins us now to tell us what are the key lessons of the past 25 years and what are the interesting aspects of the current 25th wealth creation study. Ramdev, it's a pleasure having you with us. You have been a teacher for all of us these last 25 years. Thank you for joining us. Well, the first question to you is that if you distill the wisdom of these 25 years, what is the one lesson you want to tell investors first up?
Yes, pleasure to be presenting 25th wealth creation study today, and yes, it is happening right at the midst of kind of major volatility. But in fact, the real thing is that when you look at 25 years, all these things, they're not even a dot in the performance of the corporate world or performance of the company or the stock or sales, profit, nothing. So yes, these are the part of the life in markets, and even more severe volatility can come. But wealth creation in the companies are happening irrespective of what's happening in the market. So it's all quotational, and one should not bother too much about it, particularly if you're an investor for the long term.
Okay, Ramdev, good morning. So what has been the unique lesson of this year's wealth study?
Yeah, no, this year's wealth creation study, when you look at 25 years, everything is a surprise. Whenever we run any screen, everything looks like a surprise. So, one of the thing is, let me just tell you the summary of it, and it's a continuous search for the new thought processes when you look at 25 years. The first is, time is friend of good companies and equally bad thing, enemy for the bad companies. In 25 years, successful companies have grown to unimaginable levels, in the sense that I asked many guys, those who are good in knowing numbers, and nobody could get anywhere close to like Infosys. What would be the size of Infosys in 95 compared to today, and nobody gets it right. So it is unimaginable, successful companies, how big they grow in sales, profit and market caps. So that's the first thing. Second, of the top 500 companies in 95, which were in any case very small, the 500 company was very small, and we said there is no point going beyond that. So in 500 companies, only 100 companies have survived. 100 companies have created wealth faster than 9.2% which market did. So there were 100 wealth creating companies out of 500 starting from 95. So there is a massive mortality or massive falling by wayside of a lot of companies. Third, stock returns are slaves of earnings power and growth. And in the very long run, valuations matter less. I mean, when you're talking about 25 years, when it is the successful companies are less than 1% of today's size, profits and everything. In case of Infosys, it is only 0.1% of the current profits when it was only 13 crores against current year 16,000 crores. So basically, the valuations don't matter when so much of expansion in every aspect of the company is bound to happen in the long run. That doesn't mean that it doesn't matter in the shorter term. Fourth, the future always holds a lot more promise. Only of the current, only 50% of market cap is explained by the companies listed in 95. Other 50% is created by the companies which got listed post 95. It means that we don't have to worry about that not winning in the past, not having successfully the past companies. There are a whole lot of new companies year by year, day by day. They are getting listed, and even more exciting future is ahead for the wealth creation and stock picking. And equity investing is very complex. So we said, let's have a checklist of, we cannot have a checklist for everybody, but let's have a checklist for QGLP process. If you want to pick up stocks in QGLP process, what should be the checklist? And that checklist means 25 questions with 25 frameworks as we think today. So this is the summary of the wealth creation study. The numbers are plenty of them, and we can discuss that.
Okay. Ramdev, I mean, this is a great summary of a very complex report. But let me continue where you ended. You know, the 25 things that you would watch out for. What would be the key things in your checklist?
Yeah. Yeah. So there are four buckets, or I could say 5 buckets of questions. First is quality of business. I mean, that is the first most important thing. And within the quality of business, what is important is whether you understand the business. That's the 95% of analysis. So we have to ask all the questions related to till you keep asking questions till you understand the business. You know, what is the evolution of the company, what they do, how they make money, where is the corporate office, where is the plant, I mean, and what is the value chain. So, you know, a whole lot of questions are there about understanding the business. And once you understand the business, then you can say it is a good business or bad business. So that's the very, very core of the QGLP process. First is that. Then second is the quality of management. There you keep asking about competence, passion, growth mindset, and then above all, the integrity of the management. Is there a moment of integrity? How does the management behave, more particularly in tough time or when they are cornered? So understanding the competency and integrity of the management is extremely important. That's the second bucket questions. Third is growth. I mean, you make money for not only because the quality of the company or high return on equity is there, but also because the company has been able to redeploy part of the profits made year after year in expanding the company's size and return even higher on the redeployed, reinvested funds. So how is the growth, what has been the growth trajectory, and how successfully company has been able to grow external opportunity as well as the internal capability to grow. I mean, many times you see the opportunity is there, but the growth is not there. Like, and many times there is very limited external opportunity, but internally you create such a strong organization. One company which stands out here is like Shree Cement. Shree Cement, I mean, cement industry is there, very consistently there, but it has not been a spectacular industry of growing 15, 20, 25%. But Shree Cement of all has grown multiple X. I think Shree Cement has grown by 240 times in last 25 years, despite the industry has not done so well. So, so we have looked at the quality of business, quality of management, and growth, and then we look at the pricing part of it. I mean, how exactly? Then you have to have all the questions related to whether you have done your numbers, whether you have done your spreadsheet, and then you look at the QGL, whether quality, growth, longevity is there through the numbers, and whether the numbers match up to the valuation. Then you bring your valuation framework and see the value. And then finally, you determine whether there is a margin of safety between the price and the value. So all the questions are laid out in this. This is how we practice QGLP. It is there in that.
Sure.
And it's an ever-evolving kind of a list of 25 questions.
Absolutely. Ramdev, good morning. So, you know, since we're talking about consistent wealth creators, one of the most consistent wealth creator in the last 25 years has been Kotak Mahindra Bank, right? And it had all the right ingredients. I mean, a young, dynamic promoter, this huge value migration to private banks. India was pretty unbanked at the time as well. Now, at this point in time, do you see a similar opportunity? Any company or promoter or sector that is showing you similar shades like Kotak Mahindra Bank did about 25 years ago?
Yes, I mean, that's a matter of, you know, kind of building up on the frameworks we have come across. And I mean, and actually to think about ideas for 25 years is very tough. But actually, a lot of these successful companies, particularly the consistent ones, the ones like Kotaks of the world, which are the most consistent wealth creating companies, they have a much better chance. I mean, they have far better probability of continuing to create wealth. Now, whether they create wealth at the rate of 20-21%, which they have done for the last 25 years, or whether they do a little slower, or maybe even faster in digital world, nobody knows. But they have a peculiar quality of looking at harnessing the external environment and creating organization with the given opportunity in a very consistent fashion. So that consistency in the company's conduct over a period of time has been rewarded by the market, and that's what shows up. Whether Kotak Mahindra Bank, Berger Paints, HDFC, Pidilite, Shree Cement, they have been coming from very unconnected kind of industry from each other, and yet they have created wealth. So it has to do with the quality of management, and if that quality of management continues, and the continuity of the managements are very tough beyond 25, 30, 40 years, that would remain I would say the real challenge will be continuity of the management of the current quality for any company.
Yeah, Ramdev, in fact, I wanted to extend that point. In the consistent wealth creators, what also stands out is that most of these companies have stuck to one business and have just grown that market. Whether you look at a Pidilite or you look at a Berger Paints, and there's not been too much of a diversification, right? Keep doing the same boring thing again and again.
Same thing.
Does that stand out?
Yeah, same business and same management. Most importantly, the management change is also not there. So the consistency in both sides of it has delivered this wonderful result for the companies. So the real opportunity now are that the newer companies which are coming up, and next generation is coming up, or new companies coming up, a lot of digital space you are seeing, a lot of startups. So those companies, wherever you see the stability in the management and the business, I think that's where I think a lot of wealth will be created by the newer companies, and of course the existing companies will be 50% of the, and see, it is 50% now, in 25 years, but in next 5 years, which is the most relevant horizon, I think almost 60 to 70% will be created by the existing companies.
Okay, what's your gut feeling in next 25 years, which could be the new companies that would be part of this list?
It's tough.
5 years, okay, at least 5 years.
Try to 5 years, yeah. So 5 years, I think you don't have to go anywhere. You'll find very high strike rate from the same companies only. The momentum continues, the management continues, the business environment doesn't change. So you will have almost 2/3 of the companies repeating in the next 5 years.
Okay. Well, Ramdev, hold that thought. We have lots more questions for you. We are back in a minute after the break. Back to this very exciting chat we are having with Ramdev Agarwal, the author of 25 Years of Wealth Creation Studies. Ramdev, one of the consistent performers or most profitable companies are all consumer companies. Look at your list. Hindustan Unilever, Nestle, Dabur, all of them consumer companies, but they all come expensive. So do you still persist with these companies?
Yeah. So, one of the phenomenon has been that, when you look at the numbers, they have not done that badly in terms of profit growth also. But stock growth has been even better because of sustained re-rating. And you can keep explaining why the re-rating has happened, whether re-rating is over, this round of re-rating is over and overdone or something like that. That can be an opinion. But these companies have also done very well in terms of earnings growth. That has not been only associated with the re-rating. So say like fastest, let's start with the fastest wealth creating companies. Infosys, the earnings growth has been 33%, but the price growth has been about 30%. Staggering, 688 times in last 25 years. Pidilite, 25% compounded price growth, but the earnings growth has been about 20%. So earnings growth of 20% is also not bad. It's fantastic. You have Eicher Motors about 23 and 25. Shree Cement, 19% PAT growth and price growth of 25%. So there is a large element of re-rating, but that doesn't take away their own performance of very high consistent order of around 20-22% of profit growth.
Okay. 1 minute.
Yeah,
I asked the consumer companies. I asked you the consumer companies with a reason. Is it that in the next 5 years, we probably are going to come back to the fashion of the 2000s, where you saw the smokestack, the steels, the infrastructure, the L&Ts, all, that was the best period for them. Is there a chance that that will return?
Yes. Yes, there is always a chance, and whatever has happened in 2000, it was technology companies. In 2008, it was commodity and cyclicals. So yes, these fads, these are all fads. These fads will keep happening. In next 3 to 5 years, it can be a different fad, and after that, it could be a very different fad. But that's why the beauty of this 25-year study is it cuts across everything, and it gives you what exactly has been sustainable. So, if you say that commodity prices are going to go up some, say $500 HR to $1,000 HR, of course, steel companies will boom. But the nature of the commodity says that the moment it goes to supernormal profits, the massive capacity comes from from the sky it comes, from somewhere it comes, and the prices again comes below, say 500 or from where they started. So this has been the tendency, and that's the history of any business. If there is no entry barrier, there is no sustainability of the profits. So these companies, these businesses, like whether it is Nestle, Lever, they have shown year after year, decades after decades, they have been able to hold the competition and serve the customers. So, yes, there is a conflict between the short term of say 5 years
forget
and the
about
long
stocks
term
and
of 20,
sectors.
25 years.
If you had to bank on one dynamic promoter for the next, say, 10 to 15 years, who would your best bet be?
Yeah. No, I don't have to look at anything. Look at the most consistent list, and it is very clearly visible. Kotak Mahindra, Berger Paints, HDFC, Pidilite, see, the data is speaking for itself. I mean, I don't have to have, my personal view cannot be any better than what data is saying. This, I mean, you see how consistency is being measured. It is a 3-year rolling in 25 years. So out of 23 observations, how many times these companies have delivered? And so it is not a back-ended or front-ended. It is across, throughout. And 21 out of 23 times, or 19 times out of 23 times. So they have performed. I mean, the average is speaking. They are Virat Kohlis of the world. I mean, 47, 48 consistent running average. So it's not about up and down. It is about the consistency. So they have performed with the quality as well as the speed consistently. So they are the companies which to look for.
Oh yes, the Virat Kohlis of the world. If only we had
recent memory is a little unfortunate.
Yes, but that's because the standards have been so high that you tend to look at the
36 is difficult by any standard.
I know. But anyway, Ramdev, just one last word, and just moving a bit away from this wealth creation study. Since we have you with us, what have you made of the recent volatility in the market? It's been one-way upswing. I know not the healthy rally by any stretch of imagination, perhaps a lot of people would say. But you think it's time to have some caution now?
No, I mean, see, Anuj, what we have seen this rally is from that artificial, whatever, 7,500 or whatever we saw, thanks to COVID. So it just came back to that 12,000, 12,500 and went little ahead. But basically, if you look at it on year-on-year basis, it's not that much of a gain, in the sense that it's just about 10-12%. So I don't think anything great has happened. But yes, market can stay here or whatever. I mean, you know it better. I'm not good at, but I think very exciting times are ahead. Interest rates are very low. Globally, interest rates are very low. Foreigners are interested in buying a lot more in India. Indian liquidity itself is very good. And what I hear in the newspapers and all, that historical budget is being presented, government wants growth all around. So they want to build upon initial initiative which is there in the growth momentum. I think these are all good vibes. I keep reading the papers and nothing is telling me that growth is going to be obstructed by any moves from the Delhi. So I would think that interesting time is ahead in next 12 months.
All right, Ramdev, I assume that when you say you keep reading the papers, you are also watching TV. I guess you're using it as a short form. Thank you very much for joining us with the key highlights of your 25th Wealth Creation Study. And here's wishing you all the very best for the next 25. I know you're going to educate a lot more investors. Thank you very much for joining us.